Greetings, everyone. I am Lamar Phillips, and answering this week's discussion question on how teachers can use their knowledge of language development during the school years to understand and teach their children. Well, the first thing I think of is to engage in conversation and listening to each child and between children. What I mean by that is children should already be coming from home, and I never say should, but it would be ideal if they're coming from home, already having rich discussions about objects and concepts and ideas, things that they see in the community, things that they see in the media, in the family. So continue those conversations, and just in case they're not having them at home, you can begin them in school. A lot of question and answer. Listen to conversation with them as you speak with them, informally and formally. Also listen to each child themselves in small groups or individually, and also listen between children. If you give them a topic to discuss or something that they should be conversing about, listen to how they speak to one another. You can also do that directly and indirectly. What I mean by that is using peers to interact. I've seen this several times, and as you walk around, you can hear the types of conversation they're having. But you also can use volunteers, as well as paraprofessionals, if possible, even administrators, because they need to know what's going on in the building anyway. As well as older children. So you're listening for the nature of conversation, and maybe not always attacking every single thing they're saying, but maybe pick one part of the conversation on a regular basis to hear that. Does what they say make sense? Are they using the right vocabulary to describe what they're saying? Does it go in order? Is it sequenced? Who, what, when, where, how, why? Does it make? Is it properly conditioned? And then you want to listen for the successes and necessary direction. Maybe not correcting them all the time, but to not note what they're doing. Just like we did in one of our earlier reading classes, you listen to what children are saying to kind of mark what they read correctly and incorrectly. You can do that with not only what they're reading, but what they're saying as well. Read to them. Read to them on a regular basis, and share stories with them, share anecdotes in life, listen to the way it's said, and ask them if they can redirect, if they can, share it back to you. The other thing is share videos and games that address the standards of language usage. Maybe have things that are supposed to go in order, take them out of order, check the phonemes, see if they're in place, see if they can identify them, play them on instruments to mark the syllables that are being used. In my case, and in all cases really, sing about it, talk about it, create about it. You can say something as simple as, the dog was running down the street to get the bone so he could eat. He chased the cat who chased the rat. What I'm getting at is that things that, again, are sequential, they make sense, they rhyme, those type of things you're checking for. It is fun to do unless their imagination run wild, but you're also checking for understanding, and you can listen to the diction, you can listen to the speech, you can listen to their thought process. Excuse me. It is shared with us in our text that phonological awareness is important, but language is also. I remember as a child, and maybe some people still use that, we were up every Saturday. Schoolhouse Rock was always giving us different parts of speech and the way to think, and Sesame Street and the Lecture Company. Whether our parents were doing it or not, it was a given that in public television or standard television, we were exposed to many things, and we learned a lot, and sang about it and memorized it and all that. So sharing about phonics and conversing as well, always checking for recognition, introduce new vocabulary to them on a regular basis, expose high levels, for fun, high levels of poor grammar, poor syntax, to poor pragmatics, and also positive ones. They can see the difference, and some children will know this just doesn't sound right, So I think doing that over time uh, will build, I hate to say vocabulary, will build a repertoire of what to listen for, what to kind of process. Excuse me. So, in summary, that's my thought process on how teachers can use their knowledge of language development and not assuming anything, because it is language development. Know that we must monitor, we must keep our eyes and ears on what is happening at all times during the school years, and listen to them a lot on every level to understand and teach students. It's going to be different on the primary levels to the upper elementary to middle to high school levels, and simply letting them teach you sometimes. When they make a difference, when they make mistakes, ask them why, and then just go from there. And they may not be mistakes to them, but we have to let them know what is standard and what is acceptable when we're being professional, even at a young age, and just take our time with it. So that's my thought process.